Hi there, and today I've got an absolutely giant box that's too big to fit on my build desk here, which contains an amazing bargain from eBay. Yes, so I recently got this from eBay, and I'm still not entirely sure how I managed to win it at such a low price. I'm not sure why other people weren't looking at it, but I managed to find it, and I got it for an amazing bargain price. It contains two city sets, one from 1997 and one from the year 2000, so they're both over 25 years old. So we're going to get both of them out and take a look at them. Now, both of these sets are used, but I'll let you know what their original retail price was and what their rough used value is today. And before the end of the video, I want you to try and guess how much I got them both for off eBay. But before we open that box up, two quick things. In a minute, I'll show you the most recent BAM figures I got from the LEGO store this week. But before that, a quick shout out, as always, to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It really helps me out. And if you'd like to support the channel and get your name on a brick in my videos, you can click on the join button below this video or the link in the description, and that'll tell you how. Or alternatively, if you're buying from lego.com, you could use my affiliate link in the description below. It doesn't cost you any more, but LEGO give me a small commission on everything people buy. So thanks again to my channel members, and let's take a look at what I got this week at the Builder minifig tower at my local LEGO store. Now, I do like to collect the minifigures which come in the Builder minifig towers at LEGO stores. And at the moment being December, of course, they're going to be Christmas themed. And here they are. We've got Mother Christmas, an elf, and a golden Father Christmas. Now, on the Builder minifig tower, you get 3 figures, and on each one, they get a hairpiece, a head, a torso, a pair of legs, and an accessory. And on Mrs. Father Christmas here, her accessory is this red skirt. She's got a new red patterned Christmas jumper. The skirt has got a printed white frill design on it. She's just got plain red legs, but she does have a new face print. And the hairpiece is nothing new, but it does suit her. Now, not that much on the elf is new. I do know that the torso is a new printed piece. I don't believe the face is a new print, but the hat and the ears has been in many sets before, and so has the candy cane. But it's nice to get a little bit of new design in our elf torso design. But we've got this wonderful gold Father Christmas. Now, I've been told that this figure's golden because it's the anniversary of the first Father Christmas minifigure that was made. However, I'm not entirely sure how many years that could be. If you've heard this too, let me know in the comments below how many years it is. Now, he's got the standard printed Santa torso, and everything else are exactly the same pieces as a regular Santa, except obviously they're in this lovely pearl gold colour. Now, I've no idea if this figure is going to be one that's going to be sought after, and so the price is going to go up on Bricklink, so I thought I should rush along to the LEGO store this week and make sure I got one of each of these. I didn't make a video in the store this week because I just rushed in, bought these 3 guys and went off again. So that's the minifigures. Let's get on to those 2 sets from eBay. Now, the first set, I don't think it's particularly rare or particularly sought after, but it's one that I've always personally liked. And that's set 6600, and it was called Highway Construction. It came out in the year 2000, and back then it cost $80 or £50. Now, when I buy older sets, it's really nice to get the box, but it's not something I desperately need, as long as the parts inside are in good condition. Now, in used condition today, this set goes from between £50 and £100 or $65 to $130. And having the box in such a good condition, this should probably go for the upper end of that range. So let's open it up and see what condition the pieces are in inside. Now, a lot of the sets from this era had really cool packaging, and this box has this really nice flip top lid, and then inside it's got a plastic tray insert. Now, as with most sets, I presumed that the seller would break this down into all its component parts before he shipped it to me. However, he hasn't done that. Most parts are still constructed together, like the vehicles and other parts like that, and it all looks in really good condition. So I'm going to unpack the box and take a closer look inside all these bags. And after taking all the bags out, you can see that underneath the plastic tray, if I take that out, we've got the road plates and even the original printed parts bags. So we've got all the original bags. There's the police truck, the construction digger, and the construction truck. And then we've got 3 bags for the highway supports, and finally the large gantry crane. Now, one of the reasons I really like this set are the unusual road plates you get in it. There's a 16 by 32 straight road, and that's got raised curbs at the side of it. There's a 24 by 24 90-degree curve, and that's also got those raised curbs at the edges. Then we've got 2 more straight road pieces. However, these ones are designed to go on a slope, and those run along for 2 studs flat at the bottom, then they slope up, and then we've got 2 studs running flat at the top. If we put a plate at the end, you can see they end up being 32 studs long as well. Now, I'm not entirely sure why the police are getting involved in this construction site, but they are. And we've got a fairly standard police minifigure for the era, with that classic printed head with sunglasses. The police truck itself is pretty ugly, but again, fairly standard design for the time. But it does have a cool play feature that the 2 side gates swing out, and they both say police stop on each side, and then this panel on the back flips up and you can got the keep left arrow and all the lights. In the next bag we've got a construction worker, and again he's another classic design from the era, and he comes with several tools. And he drives this rather bizarre looking digger. It's got a click hinge at the front like that, and actually this piece here is printed and it's not a sticker. At the back it's got another click hinge, but this time it's got a hook, and it's got a gunmetal grey minifig goblet, which I think is meant to represent an exhaust pipe. We've got some small ancillary items. We've got these 4 road signs. There's a small barrier with printed chevrons, another workman, but unique to this set is this really cool 2x2 printed tile showing the plans of what the guys are building. Moving on to the next bag, we've got another construction worker and the truck he drives. Now I think this vehicle is slightly less bizarre looking than the other two, but it does have a really cool tipping mechanism at the back. Now it's got a one-piece tipper on the back. It's not brick built, and it does just tip up like this. However, it's also on 2 arms, so you can raise it up as well. I'm not entirely sure how much help that's going to be when you're tipping up your load out of the back of the truck, but it does. It's quite a nice mechanism, but there you go. That's what the truck's like. Now, continuing with the slightly bizarre designs, the crane's odd looking, but it's still quite cool. It's on wheels, so it can roll backwards and forwards, and moving up, we've then got this crane piece on top, which is on a turntable, so that can also rotate. And then on the back, we've got a winch, so the hook can be raised and lowered. And then on the end, we can either have this spring-loaded grabber or this concrete mixer. But the highlight of the set is definitely the raised roadway. And to hold up the roadway in the sky, you need some supports. And you start off by using this 8x16 piece, which is completely pre-built. These aren't bricks, they're all moulded onto the same base plate. And that's got a gentle slope on it, so vehicles can drive over it. And then you build up the supports by using these 2x4 bricks and these 2x4 grey bricks, which are actually 3 bricks tall. And for those, you add a black brick, then you add the grey bricks, then you add another black brick, and finish off with 2 more of the tall grey bricks, and then add one of these huge 4x16 bricks on the top, with 2 yellow 1x4s. And in the set, you get 3 of them. Now, I've just realised after saying these were 16 studs wide, they're actually not. The roads are 16 studs, and they sit in between these. So these bricks on top are actually 4x18, and those plates down the bottom are 8x18. Now, 18 is a very unusual Lego measurement to use. And until just now, I didn't know that either of these parts existed. So to start with, we add one of those road plates in the middle here, like this. Then, of course, if we wanted to, we could just slope straight back down again. But it'd be much more fun to add a flat piece in between. And for that, we could add the curved road plate like that, and we get some extra black 2x4s to lock the whole thing in place. And then from there, of course, we need another support like that, and then we're going to continue our road going along straight and lock that in place again with some 2x4s. And then we've got our final support piece, which goes on there, and we can slope our road back down at the end and then lock those off also with the last 2 2x4s. And like I said, there's lots of parts here which I've never owned before, like those 8x18 raised base plates, but especially all these printed road pieces. I do actually have one of these 16x32 straight road pieces, but it's not printed like this one. It was just plain grey in a Lego City Harbour set. And when I eventually build my Lego City, I think they may be something I'd like to buy a few more of. But obviously not in a complete set, just a few separately from Bricklink. So that's set number 1. It's quite nice, one that's always interested me, but one that I wasn't ever going to go out of my way to buy. So now I'm going to move on to the second set in the auction, and that set was the reason why I was bidding. And that's this one, which is set 6560, and it was called Diving Expedition Explorer. It came out in 1997, and like the previous set, it also retailed for $80. Now in 97, Lego City hadn't actually been launched, so it was still being branded under Lego System. Now the box to this set isn't in quite as good condition as the other one. It's pretty battered and fairly sun damaged on the end, but it also had one of the really cool lifting lids. Now I remember getting boxes like this as a kid, and I thought they were absolutely amazing, lifting that lid and seeing all the parts inside. Unlike the other set, the inner tray's gone, but being part of the Diver's sub-theme, it's got this really cool water effect on the inside of the box. Now inside we've got a large instruction booklet, unlike the previous set which had all those separate bags with separate instructions. We've got 2 giant bags of Lego, and also a little note from the seller. And that says, shark has wrong head, skeleton is missing hat, missing goggles from one diver, some minor coloured parts are not 100% correct colour, 99% complete. Now I knew this when I bought it, but it was such a bargain. Even with these slight errors, it was still absolutely worth it. Now as a kid, this set would have given me absolutely great play value. We've got both the above water boat and divers, and also the below water scene with a submarine. And it looks like he's partially broken things down. There's still substantial amounts of it still together, so we're going to quickly put it together and have a look. So it's in a little bit of a mess. It might have actually been easier if it was in single parts and I could have just followed the instructions, but hopefully this won't take too long to put back together. And there's a few few cool parts in this set too. There's some support pieces which have been adopted from the classic space theme, and also 1x16 bricks, which you don't see that often. So the boat is finished, and I'm just starting on the underwater scene, and I've come across yet another piece which I've never owned before, and that's this inverted arch piece. I've got plenty of these pieces which has come in many a castle set over the years, but this is pretty much the same piece, only upside down. So that's another piece to add to the list of pieces I didn't own and I didn't even know existed. So it's all together, it only took about 20 minutes. So now I'll quickly show you around all the different elements. So first of all, of course, we've got the above water elements, and the main part of that is the main boat. I found a couple of the pieces where the seller described it as 99% complete. First of all, we're missing a little yellow brick here, a yellow plate, and then obviously we have port and starboard. We've got red on this side, we should have green on this side, but again we've got yellow instead, so we need to replace those out for two transparent green plates. The roof to the cabin of the ship opens up. We've got two hatches, one each side, and inside we've got a map of the ocean on this side. And looking in on the other side, we've got a sonar scanner, a steering wheel, and of course a classic space computer. At the back of the boat, we've got one of those 8x8 grill plates, and that's obviously so water can drain away. And there's two kind of rail tracks running along, and that's for the crane to lift on the inflatable dinghy. And lots of elements have these modified round plates with the eyelet on top attached to them so that they can hook onto the crane itself. So first of all, of course, the inflatable boat. We've also got a diver's cage, and one of the sides on that hinges open so the divers can get in and out. Once the inflatable's been lifted up and moved forward, also, more importantly, we've got the submersible, which can be lifted up and put in the back of the boat. Now the boat and the submersible both have matching logos, and these went across the entire diver's range at this time. The crane uses that standard piece of the time with the boom that extends out and of course the winch on the back. However, for some reason there is a pin at the back of the crane which stops it rotating past these two pieces on the sides here, so the crane can't actually swing that far out from the boat itself. And if anyone used to have this set and know why that's there, let me know in the comments below, as it just seems an unnecessary restriction to me. So that's all the above water elements. Before we go down below the sea surface, let's look at all the minifigs. We get a good amount of minifigs in the set, 6 in total, and there's 4 divers and 2 crew members. The divers have helmets, masks, air tanks and flippers, except for one who's missing his mask, but that's easily replaced. And they also have a good number of accessories. We also get a white shark, a black octopus, a black grey, and a dark grey shark. And this is the element where the seller said the shark has the wrong head. It's actually the completely wrong shark. It should be light grey and also have the saw head. But fortunately, they're fairly easy to get hold of. This is the same shark, but only in black. This one is actually super rare and only ever appeared in one set. And I've been after one of these for a long time, and I've actually bought this fairly recently, as I hardly ever see them for sale on Bricklink in the UK. So that's fine, I've got an extra shark, but we can swap him out later. And then lastly, we've got this diver's buoy, which would float in the water over the diving area. And so moving on to the underwater scene. And this is built on 2 16x32 base plates, but however they are hinged so we can close it up like this and turn it into a 32x32. It's got a single 1x2 slope on this end, and if we remove that brick like that, then we can open the whole thing out. Then over on one side, hiding behind one of the large ugly rock pieces, we've got a pirate skeleton, and this is also one of the missing parts. He's missing his hat, and he's sitting with his treasure chest, which has got a few pieces of treasure. There's a goblet and a few gold coins in there, and a spare sword of his. But turning it around, this is clearly the side it's meant to be viewed from, and this is obviously a network of caves where the divers are exploring. And the set designers put absolutely loads of these 1x1 bricks with bars attached, and then you can attach a diver like that and make it look like they're swimming along. And apart from those 1x1 bricks and a few slopes, the whole thing is made out of those huge rock pieces and arches and inverted arches. And then with all the animals and divers in place, you can set up some really quite nice scenes. So out at the beginning I said you'd have to guess and try and work out what I spent on these two sets, and with their current value in this condition with their boxes, it should be about £200 odd. And again, like I said earlier, I'm not entirely sure how I managed to do this, but I only got these for £75.50, which seems an absolute steal. And as that's about the price the construction set should have cost on its own, in my mind effectively I get the diving expedition set entirely for free. I'm not entirely sure why not many other people were interested in it on eBay. Perhaps it just happened at the wrong time, but I must admit the eBay auction title wasn't the most descriptive, so maybe people just missed this one. So anyway, that's my bargain this week. As always, let me know all your thoughts on these sets in the comments below. If you've liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up. It really helps me out and gets the YouTube algorithm get this video out to many other people. If you'd like to support the channel, like I said earlier, you could become a channel member or use my affiliate link to lego.com. But most of all, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe for more LEGO videos.